The Laredo Climate Cohort program began in the summer of 2022, and we were able to get this because we were selected by Al Gore's Climate Reality Project, and it was very competitive, but because we were selected, we knew that Laredo had a story to tell, and we knew that the border had a story to tell. You know, here in South Texas, we are very much dependent on a highly distressed river system, the Rio Grande, this beautiful river. And because of declining rainfall and these kind of changing weather patterns, and more importantly, the lack of any climate planning by our city government or any anchor institutions, we knew that there was a lot to do here.
I always pictured climate change distantly from myself, but as I interviewed people that were personally affected by the increasing heat, I realized that it wasn't so distant. I could imagine them, and they could be like my friends and family that are affected by climate change.
We started, I think, with that first cohort with about maybe 25 students from TAMI-U and Laredo College. And we worked with also some members of the community that are very passionate about this issue to help sort of ground them in climate change. But the idea was always about building their skills, public speaking, how to make PowerPoint presentations, how to make videos so that a story could get told effectively.
The students sort of got an education first. They went and did some field trips and educated on climate and the issues facing Laredo. And then we wanted to do some skills building to prepare them for public speaking and arts activism and technical writing and these skills that you're going to need in order to take your passion but make a difference with it. When we started developing skills for these kids, some were writers, but not speakers. Some were speakers, but not writers. Some stayed away from both of those and really focused on arts activism, and because there are those who that's where they shine. So I don't think there's anybody that from any background that couldn't help.
This was a very hands-on experience. When I joined, I thought it was going to be a lot about learning, which obviously we did learn a lot of different things. But we took a lot of workshops, media journalism, storytelling, exhibit curation. So I learned a lot throughout those experiences. And as I repeated before, it was very hands-on.
We had actually started the summer before in 2021 with like a 2-day camp, and it was mainly geared for high school students. And we were very interested to see what high school students were thinking about climate change. But after that experience, we decided we wanted to go with college students. We felt that they'd have more flexibility with their schedules. We could do a lot more skills building training and workshops with them so that they in turn could become advocates for climate change in Laredo.
That makes the Climate Cohort distinct from other organizations and programs I have had the opportunity to be a part of is that I've been able to merge my passion for technology, but in a way that it also merges into environmental advocacy. And how sometimes here in the Climate Cohort, we have the ability to share that public health information with those who might not be as knowledgeable as us, as they haven't been able to experience these trips where we've gone to different parts of Laredo to experience that firsthand interaction and connection with residents who reside in those areas that are affected, especially the most vulnerable and marginalized populations, such as the Azteca or the Mines Road area zip code.
And I didn't realize that climate change had so many facets, that it can look like it means so many different things, and I was unaware of that. So being part of RGISC and being part of the Climate Cohort opened my eyes to climate change, and it can affect all of us in different forms.
Having mentors was really helpful because our generation is much more educated, much more open to being educated, and I feel like we don't have a lot of adults in our lives that believe in climate change or really want to do anything about it. So having strong, prominent figures that are trying to make a change for not just us, but our future generations, it was new.
My biggest hope for this project moving forward is that it become an annual, year-round program that is able to effectively create really good awareness and stories and visuals for our local community that then influences choices and decisions that are made, because we have to act now in order for Laredo to remain a habitable place in the years to come. And so my hope is that these students are going to be part of that process.
I realized throughout this program that it's not just enough to learn about what is happening, to be aware of all the issues, but you also have to be proactive. You have to do something about it, right? It's no good if we just are super informed, but then where does that leave us, right? So I decided to continue because I reconnected with the community engagement that RGISC advocates for, and that's something that I had never experienced before, and that's something I had never done. So I wanted to continue that path and see if I could be, in any shape, way, or form, I could be part of that.
Very realistically, the students who have been involved with us since the beginning that keep coming back, what we can achieve with it is the investment that we're making in these students and seeing them come back, continue to help out. Maybe one day they're going to end up back in Laredo, maybe they move off somewhere else, but whatever the case may be, I think that passion starts and grows now, and you're going to see it pay off years down the road once they're off and out of college and successful, and now they're doing the work that we wanted to see them do on climate change.
I feel it is vital that we introduce more initiatives such as the Laredo Climate Cohort to the youth here in Laredo, as we're going to be the future, and we might as well get that information and all those techniques and all those ways to share our knowledge from those who have been doing it for so long. They have the experience. For example, the executive director of the Rio Grande International Study Center and all the mentors that assisted in our climate cohort. It is super important that we find how to advocate, how to express our knowledge to those who aren't part of this opportunity. Even adults who have been living in Laredo for over 30 or 40 years, sometimes they don't know how to express themselves or how to share their concerns because they feel that they fall into the silent majority portion of Laredo. So that's why it's important for us to be the advocators, the ones that are their voice, their microphone, so we can make a difference whenever we reach our city leaders and city council.
I feel like we could get a lot of work done if the cohort grew, especially in the sense that it's a very small community in Laredo that genuinely believes and cares and is willing to do something, about climate change. And obviously there's very little that we can do besides talking to our, councilmen and women and going to, the meetings that they host there and encouraging the bills that they pass that will help things like the river.
This is beautiful, and the fact that we're doing this now, this digitization archival project in the summer of 2025, and we're working with at least a dozen of them that have come back from the different years. They're still committed to this. They still feel a part of this, and they want to be a part of the work moving forward.